Hey you guys, it's Celia and I'm back with another video. So today I'm going to kind of just talk to you about my experience being a blow dried natural this time around in my hair journey while I blow dry my hair in the background. So I always work on freshly washed and conditioned hair. I did use my Goddess Curls moisturizing shampoo and conditioner. And then I do go in with my Divine Hair Elixir to my scalp because I do get dry scalp, and make sure that that's nice and hydrated. Rub that on in. I do make sure not to use too much oil because for my hair personally, if I have too much oil on my hair strands when I blow dry, it tends to kind of just weigh my hair down, and I don't know, it doesn't give me a nice flowy type of blow dry. So for my heat protectant, because even though this is just a blow dry, I still like to protect my hair, I use the Paul Mitchell Skinny Serum. This stuff smells so good and it leaves my hair feeling soft, smooth, and gives it a nice shine. So when I use this, I do 2 pumps for my back and middle sections because those are like the coarsest parts of my hair. And then once I get to the top, I only use 1 pump just because the hair on top is a little looser and a bit finer. So yeah, whenever I do any blow dry, I do like to make sure my hair is perfectly damp. I don't like it to be too dry, and then I also don't like it to be like soaking or dripping wet. I like it just right in the middle. Of course, I work in sections, I believe about 5 sections on each side. That just works perfectly for me. And I do, of course, use my Revlon blow dryer brush. I do have a Rev Air. I occasionally will bring that out, but honestly, it takes me a long time when I use the Rev Air, and I just hate having to like hold my arm up. It just is exhausting. So with the Revlon brush, if you have this brush, you know the heat settings can get a bit hot, so I typically use the low heat setting whenever I do my blowouts. However, I knew I was trimming my ends, so I wanted my hair super duper stretched this day, which is why I chose to use the highest heat setting, but normally I only use the low. So now that you guys got my little rundown of my blow dry process, because I know some people did specifically ask to see it, let's get into some things I've noticed about my hair now that I've been blow drying it a lot more often. Because the beginning of the year, for like the first 2 months, I wore nothing but blow dried styles each and every week, and then since then I feel like the next couple of months I've been doing blow dried styles at least like 2 times a month. So jumping right into it, one of the major differences I've noticed from being a blow dried natural is I have less shrinkage. And I mean, duh. Whenever you blow dry your hair, you get that length that you would not have had you styled your hair in its curly, wet state. And I know are probably plenty of women out there with worse shrinkage than mine. However, it does not matter how long my hair grows. It is down my back near my butt, and whenever I do my wet styles, braid out, twist style, especially a wash and go, it still shrinks right back up to my shoulders. And it's so frustrating because it's like, what is the point of having all this nice long hair if I can't even wear and show my nice long hair? Like, it's just so frustrating. So that is one of the major differences that I love about having my hair blow dried. Whenever I do my blow dried styles, which you guys have seen tons of my different tutorials for them, I still get a lot more length. Now it does shrink up a little bit still, just because I am adding product to it, just because I am twisting it and all that, but it is a lot more elongated than, like I said, if I styled my hair when it was wet. Now, 2 major differences I've noticed are that I get less tangling and less shedding when my hair is in blown out hairstyles. So, I mean, honestly, it just kind of makes sense. When your hair is in its wet state, or you've done like a wet braid out, twist out, whatever, your hair is bunched together because you get a lot more of that shrinkage. So we know our curls have a life of its own, so when our curls are bunched together, it can start to intertwine and get tangled with one another. That's how you can start to get knots, and you know, the tangling when you have more tangles, you tend to have more shedding. Now, obviously, our hair naturally sheds a certain amount of strands each day, but I'm not talking about that hair. I'm talking about that extra shedding you get when you have a lot more tangles. So I definitely notice when I'm having wash day with my, an old blown out style, I have significantly less shed hair in my brush and going down the drain than if I had done, a wet type of style. So I definitely appreciate that. And with less tangling, that also just means that, and this is another positive, that detangling is so much easier. So again, whenever I am in the shower and I'm detangling my hair from an old blown out style, it just goes by so much quicker. My brush glides right on through. So less tangling, less shedding, and it makes detangling so much easier. So another thing, a positive thing that I've noticed is that styling my hair is so much easier. Now, I will say, because I do have to blow dry, that does add a little bit more time to my wash day, so that could be seen as a con. And I'm not gonna lie, there are some days where I'm just like, I do not feel like blow drying my hair. But then when I'm going to style, whether it's a twist style, braid out, whatever, it goes by so much faster because my hair is stretched. So again, I don't have to go through a whole bunch of tangles, and then also I don't have to keep going in with my spray bottle to make sure my hair is wet, and also I don't have to use as much product as I probably would if my hair was wet and curly. So yeah, I can get twist outs, braid outs, and that done in literally half the time, if that. And it just makes, it just makes styling just so much easier, you guys. So I do definitely enjoy that part. Now, as far as like drying my hair, I feel like you would, at least for me, I would think that since I'm not using water, that the amount of time it takes for my hair to dry would be quicker. But honestly, I think the dry time is about the same. I feel like even though you probably are only using a mousse, or you're only using a cream or whatever for your blow dried style, you still want to make sure it sets, because you want to make sure, since that water is not being used, that you're still getting that hold. If you do not let your twist or whatever blow dried style you're doing set, then literally it's not going to get any type of definition and it'll poof right on up. So I feel like dry time is basically the same. I still set my hair underneath my hooded dryer and then I air dry the rest overnight, but I don't think, it doesn't really make or break anything for me. I still enjoy blow drying my hair. Another thing I really like about blow dried styles and what I've noticed is that restyling is super easy. So of course you guys know, for a regular braid or twist out or whatever that was done on wet hair, you can restyle your hair without getting into the shower. You can literally just section off your hair, wet it on down, reapply product, and then re-braid or retwist. However, I feel like when your hair is blow dried, the process is just so much easier. Again, your hair was stretched, so detangling is much quicker. You don't have to go in with any water. I literally can just go add some more cream, twist it on up, let it dry, and then I'm done. So it's just an easier, quicker process. Now, another major thing I've noticed from wearing my hair blow dried and in blow dried styles is that my hair keeps in a lot more moisture than if I, just did a regular wet twist out, braid out, whatever. And how I've noticed that is because when I have just a regular traditional wet twist out or braid out, once after throughout the course of the days, as your hair starts to get old and you get a lot more frizz, once my hair starts getting that frizz, that is when the moisture starts to go down. So when the definition is completely gone, 9 times out of 10, that's when my hair is at its driest. However, when my hair is in its blow dried state and I've done whatever blow dried style, over the course of the days, even as I'm losing definition, even as my hair is getting frizzier, it still feels nice and soft. And then when it's wash day, I'm putting the water, or putting my hair underneath the water, I can still feel that moisture. I don't know how to explain it, but my hair definitely feels a lot softer with these blow dried styles, and I don't know how that works. I'm just telling you what I noticed. So overall, you guys, what I have just noticed about my hair since wearing it blow dried a lot more is it is just easier to maintain. It's a lot easier to maintain than my tight curls. And I know I don't have the tightest curls, but I feel like my curls they are pretty tight. And the tighter your curls are, you guys know, the more maintenance it is with your hair. And I feel like regardless of your curl type, if it's your hair and it grows out of your head, you should still, take care of it, even if it takes forever, even if it's exhausting and draining. It's your hair at the end of the day. And you take care. This is my thing. You take care of the things that you care about. So regardless of how exhausting it is, regardless if it's not fun, if you care about it, you will take care of it. And I feel like that translates to people's hair as well, because there's tons of people, they clearly don't care about their hair because they're not taking care of it, and they make up excuses for that. But if I can do something as simple as just blow drying my hair to kind of help with the maintenance of my hair, like I said, help with detangling, help with all that, that'll kind of make my life a little bit easier, I'm going to do that. So definitely easier to maintain, and then it just gives me more of my desired look. And don't get me wrong, I love my curls. I do love my hair when it's in its curly state. Even when it is shrunken, I still love it. However, I also really, really love my hair when it's stretched out, when it's super big and voluminous, so that is just my little take. I definitely am still going to continue blow drying my hair, doing blow dried styles. The only thing I would say, if you are going to be someone who wants to start blow drying your hair and wearing your hair stretched a lot more, is be careful of the weather, because literally one little raindrop, one snowflake, too much wind can literally revert your hair or knock your definition out. So just be mindful of when you're blow drying your hair and all that. And then also making sure to use the correct products. Now, I have been showing you all my blow dried styles using my Goddess Curls Enchanting Moisture Cream. You can get away with doing blow dried styles using creams. However, as it does start to get a little bit hotter, we get into the summer months, I may swap my cream out for a foaming mousse, just so I can still get the moisture and the definition, but I get a lot more hold that can probably withstand the heat. But other than that, I'm still gonna be blow drying my hair in the summertime. I've honestly never had an issue doing that. Yeah, you guys, so if you are somebody who is looking to get into wearing your hair blow dried or stretched a lot more, because honestly, you don't even have to pick up a blow dryer to stretch your natural hair. I think at this point we all know different methods, different heatless methods to stretch our hair. I just personally prefer to just use my blow dryer because it's just quicker and easier, and I can have it done that same day. But I would say don't be afraid. I know some people are afraid of the damage just because it still does use heat, and all I would say is, one, you don't have to do it every wash day. You can take a break. You can do it once a month, you can do it twice a month. It's all up to you and how you feel, it'll work with your hair. Make sure that you deep condition your hair. Make sure you're still practicing healthy hair practices. You're still, taking care of it the way you should. Trimming your ends, making sure your hair is moisturized, all that good stuff. So far, I have not noticed anything negative, but if I do, I will definitely come back and give you guys a hair update. But like I said, for now, I'm sticking to these blow dried styles. So let me know your guys' thoughts. If you are a blow dried or stretched natural, comment down below. Let me know some tips. Let me know why, your experience, if you're wanting to. Let me know why you're afraid. I would love to just have some conversation in the comments. But yeah, that is the end of this video. If you missed my video where I actually trimmed off these dead ends, then I'll put that video down below. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. I think I already said that. Check out all of my blow dried hairstyles on my channel, and I'll see you in another one. Bye.